Hey everybody, I'm Stephen Pierce, usually known as your neighborhood friendly and probably favorite bartender at Bear's Den Pizza. And this is the first pilot and test, rough sketch, rough draft episode of Pierce Meal Prep. Now for a long time, I've had friends, coworkers, what have you, ask me, Pierce, how do you do this meal prep thing? It looks difficult. It looks like you probably spend a ton of money doing it. And I'm here to finally show you on a video in this YouTube series, we'll see where it goes, that this stuff is easy, it's cheap, and most importantly, the entire reason we even do it, other than keeping our budget in line, it's healthy. Now, the reason I like doing this meal prep stuff is it's just the easiest way for me as just a single bachelor guy to, one, keep things under a decent and affordable budget, keep things healthy, and also, only cook a few times a week and not have to worry about when I get home from work, have to get behind the stove or whatever and start doing everything. Instead, I can go to the refrigerator or the freezer and, warm the stuff up and I have an amazingly awesome, delicious, and cheap, like I keep saying that word, cheap, great meal. So it works for me, and I'm not any kind of expert, but I'll show you guys what I do. And maybe if just one person out there in the world gets anything out of this, then I'd serve my purpose on this stuff. Now, I tend to talk people's heads off. Probably a good thing you never got a text from me. So I'm gonna try to keep this pretty short and sweet. So let's just get straight to it. Today, we're gonna make barbecue chicken over cilantro lime rice and with a bunch of veggies. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of planning on going in this recipe making 10 servings for a decent little stretch about a week. Admittedly, kind of messed up my numbers, so we're making 18 servings of all this stuff. So you should end up by the end of this with 18 servings of this dish, running about a little over 700 calories with 70 grams of protein, 40 grams of fat, and 35 grams of carbs. So, let's get started. We have 10 pounds of chicken breast, and on those chicken breasts, we're gonna be putting garlic salt and barbecue sauce and zesty Italian dressing, and Worcestershire sauce? I can't ever say that. And then for the cilantro lime vinaigrette, we got lime juice, we got white vinegar, we got cilantro, some brown sugar, we got some garlic in the refrigerator, and then of course some salt and pepper, whatever. We got some spicy brown mustard, and I got some olive oil put up, not in the picture right now. For the veggies, we got 4 green peppers and 4 raw onions. I have 10 pounds of chicken breast here. Now, heads up, I would personally recommend hitting up the meat department at your local Kroger grocery store, because it seems to me, more often than not, you can get the exact same chicken for the exact same price with all the fat cut off of it, or if you screw up like me, you get the prepackaged stuff for the same price after they're closed because you went too late. Well, now, nothing wrong with it, but now I gotta cut all the fat off. So I'm just gonna do that real fast. Now, we got the chicken breast, all the fat's cut off of it. Now we're gonna get some of this garlic salt, and we're gonna get some of this sea salt, and then we're also gonna get some of this black pepper. And we're gonna dress these things up and throw it in this pot here. Now, we got the chicken prepared, it's in the pot, ready to roll. All we have to do to it now is get this barbecue sauce mixture all whipped up and throw it on top. So we got some zesty Italian dressing, we got some of the Worcestershire sauce, and then we got some barbecue sauce. Really, that's up to you. Personally, I really dig this Weber stuff, out of focus. This Weber's barbecue sauce, as it has no MSG, that's cool. Most importantly, it's really good. It's one of my favorite barbecue sauces. Just grabbed it on accident one day at Kroger. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna throw together 3 cups of barbecue sauce, 1/3 cup of Italian dressing, and we're gonna go 3 tablespoons of this Worcestershire. This stuff, we're gonna put 3 tablespoons of this in there. So that's what we're gonna do. So hopefully the music in the background isn't bleeding too bad into this cheap $20 microphone I'm using, as I could do this without any kind of tune. So I found this playlist on Spotify of YouTube friendly songs that, you know, so hopefully I don't get sued doing this. And then you don't get your hands dirty on this one because we need to mix it around. Make sure it's good and buried, and the barbecue sauce has covered everything pretty good. Wash your hands. Now, next step, what we're gonna do is we're gonna throw this chicken into something that's called an Instant Pot. It's an electric pressure cooker. It's amazing. It's like a slow cooker in a microwave had a baby. So, which, by the way, this can be accomplished perfectly fine in a slow cooker. It's just gonna take you about 7 or 8 hours for the chicken to cook. And this thing, we're looking at about 40 minutes. So, just a heads up, this thing's awesome. I highly recommend it. Especially with this, you know, we're keeping all this stuff easy. This thing takes out so much of the work. So we're gonna take this chicken and we're gonna throw it in this Instant Pot. All right, so we got it in, got the chicken in the Instant Pot. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put the lid on here. That means it's locked, and we're gonna go, when you can use a poultry setting or whatever, I'm gonna go manual because that's easiest for me. And we're gonna set this bad boy at 20 minutes. Make sure the valve is set to close. Give it a second, it's gonna beep. Beep, 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 beep. Or like that, whatever. And then we're just gonna wait for this to build up pressure. Takes about probably 10 minutes, and then we got it set on 20, so when the pressure's set at 10 minutes, it's gonna cook it for 20 minutes, and then the chicken will be done. So, moving on now to the rest of it. Just a heads up, when I started this video, I put 10 pounds of chicken in the Instant Pot. In hindsight, I should have put 5 pounds and just ran it through twice, as it had some problem sealing, pressurizing. So that's why this is the first video. I'll probably eventually reshoot it if this goes anywhere. But just a heads up, we're gonna do this much amount of chicken, just split it up so the Instant Pot can pressurize properly. I overfilled it. And what we're gonna be using next for the rice is just your everyday typical rice cooker. These things cost like $20, $30. You can get them at Walmart, Kroger, just about anywhere. Amazon, doesn't matter. Everybody should have a rice cooker. It is my second favorite kitchen appliance. So we're gonna get all this rice up and going. Just needs to be normal rice. You're gonna use white rice today. There's no big deal. If you're gonna use brown rice, you gotta use twice the amount of water. But anywho, we're gonna go ahead and get this rice going in the background while the chicken's going. Now when you do any kind of white rice, typically you're gonna be doing 1 cup of rice to 1 cup of water. We're gonna personally throw 5 cups in here. We're gonna run a little bit more later, so. Then, all you gotta do when the rice and the water's in there, just hit go. And now wait and, okay. All right, actually, you also need the top. So make sure the top's on, hit go, then you don't have to touch it. It should cook in probably about 20 minutes roughly. Next up, we gotta cut the vegetables. Now, admittedly, I used red onions, so there's a lot of onions to cut here. Might get a little emotional, but it's okay. You won't always be cutting onions. I mean, no reason to be sad anyways. I mean, it's not like your team drafted Nelson Aguilar in the first round. And now with the rice done, separate it and put it in a container because we're gonna need to cook more of it. And man, you gotta get yourself a rice cooker. This stuff comes out perfect every time as long as you put enough water in it. And then you're gonna take the olive oil and put that in the skillet. Just kind of eyeball it. Not a big deal. Don't put a ridiculous amount in there or this stuff's gonna taste weird. And then throw all the green peppers on top of it. Put it on the skillet. We got about medium-high heat for reference right now. And just keep kind of tossing and turning it for a little bit. Don't let it burn. So it should take about 5 or 10 minutes on medium-high heat. And we're gonna get that all up and going. Then, when the chicken is done in the Instant Pot, just let that steam out. And you're just gonna take the chicken, which should be easily shreddable, and just put that on some type of cutting board. So just fish this, see it's already falling apart. That's what you want. And now, just shred the chicken, which it should be the easiest thing pretty much in the world to do. Now, one thing I found the easiest as far as the cilantro lime rice goes, just find the biggest pot you got. This is a crock pot. Just mix your rice all in it so you can mix the vinaigrette on top of it. Cilantro lime, and just pour that in there. All right, now from here, we're gonna build a meal. So what we're gonna do first is we're gonna grab 1 cup of rice, throw that in there, and then for every time you weigh out the protein in all these meals, I always use a weight scale. You can get these for like 10 bucks anywhere. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna turn it on, it's gonna set, and then so we don't get everything messy, we're gonna take Tupperware, put it on top, hit the tare button so it evens out, so we're at 0 with the Tupperware on top of it. And from there, just grab chicken, and we're gonna measure out 6 ounces per serving. Perfect. Couldn't even, I don't know how I did that. Couldn't do that if I was tried. So from there, and just throw that chicken on top. And then all you're gonna do, take some of the onion, throw that in there, throw some of the green pepper on there, top it off with the green onion. And that's all there is to it. We now have 18 servings of all of this food. Like I said, about 700, 720 calories. It's probably a little less than that with my calculations. And I was, at this point, gonna give you a readout of exactly how much this costed. I lost the receipt. But this should cost about roughly $4 a meal. Next video and all the ones ahead of this one, there will be a much more detailed analysis of that. Now, I will note, I did end up with a lot of extra onion, so honestly, we probably could have went with at least an entire less of 1 onion, but hey, you got stuff around with and stuff now. And of course, now that we have 18 meals prepped and ready to go whenever we need them, how are we gonna store it? Well, you're gonna take however many that you're gonna need for the next 3 days. So I'm gonna leave out probably 8. Put 8 in the refrigerator and then put the rest in the freezer. Now, ideally, you'll get a deep freeze, which I'm working on. So my roommate kind of hates me right now, but it's all cool, it's all good. If this works for me, may not work for you, but if it helps anybody out there, then I feel good about myself. Because at the end of the day, you gotta find what works for you best. You gotta find your baseline that you can build on top of, because you can't start decorating the windows before the foundation's built, right? So anyways, I'm Stephen Pierce. I'll see you next time.